Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers is easily Kendrick Lamar's album of 2022, but I'm sure it left you with a few questions. Who's this Mr. Morale character? Did Elton John write any of the songs? And what does any of this have to do with Bigfoot? Well, we're about to find out. Hey everyone, I'm Jason Filer. I hope you're having an amazing day, and here are 5 things you didn't know about Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. Number 1. As we all know, Kendrick Lamar has been a giant force in the rap world ever since the release of his first full-length LP in 2011, Section 80, or debatably even before that with the release of his 2004 mixtape, My Bible is the Best Bible. However, what most people don't know is that Kendrick used to release music in the late 1980s under the name I Am the Biggest Stepper. He reportedly released 2 full-length mixtapes between 1987 and 1989, which was very impressive considering his age at the time. Isn't that wild? These mixtapes are no longer available though, because he got in trouble with his school and he was forced to find every remaining copy of both of the mixtapes and smash it with a baseball bat. This is alluded to in the album on the track Crown, when he repeats the refrain, I used to make music under the album name sort of until I had to smash it with the baseball bat, 10 times at the end of the song. What a neat Easter egg. Number 2. The second song on the album, N95, is probably the most classic banger-type track on the whole album. Even though it's just fun to listen to, the lyrics are very profound and inspired by true events. For example, in his first verse he says, "Take off the runway, I take off to Cairo," which was inspired by a time in 2016 when he flew himself in a private plane from his home state of California with the intention of going to the city of Cairo in Egypt. But he actually never says that he landed in Cairo, which is a subtle nod to the fact that he messed up and instead landed on a deserted island in the Pacific, where he still lives to this day. Number 3. We Cried Together is by far the 8th song on the album. This song features the stunning actress Taylor Swift and depicts a couple having a major argument. Even though it sounds like Kendrick and Taylor are fighting each other, what most people don't know is that Kendrick got sick the day of the recording session, so Taylor had to do an impression of Kendrick in order for his part to get recorded. However, when he came back the next day, he still wanted to take part in the song's creation, so he counted the amount of times Taylor swore while recording the song, and wrote it on a post-it note, which he stuck on the mini fridge in his office. This way, every time he goes to work, he gets reminded of the time he got sick and Taylor Swift replaced him, and he hasn't been sick since and Taylor hasn't sworn since. Number 4. The second to last track on the album is commonly known as Mother I Sober, because that's the name of it. This is an incredibly reflective and genuine song, and boasts production credits from Soundwave, DJ Dahi, JFK, Maxi, Gandhi, and even Balmorris. Even though it's the longest track on the album, clocking in at just under 7 minutes, it's also the shortest on the album, clocking in at just above 2 minutes for a total time of around 5 minutes. A lot of people online have been raving about this song and have been putting it high in their rankings of songs on the album, but there's a neat little secret about the track that might change their opinion. The song is actually just okay and not that great. Make sure to remember that one when you play a game of Kendrick Lamar trivia. Finally, number 5. Even though Kendrick himself has writing credits on every single one of the songs in the album, he didn't actually write the whole thing. The first track on the album, United in Grief, was actually written entirely by Sir Elton John in 2012, right after he heard Kendrick's 2012 album, Good Kid, Mad City, because he loved it so much and wanted to, quote, be just like the fast man with the words and the music forever and ever and ever. This was an issue for Kenny though, because Sir Elton had written the line, 1,855 days I've been having so much food. And even though Kendrick finished this album in early 2018, he had to wait all the way until mid-2022 to release it just so that the timeline Sir John created would match up with the release of Kendrick's previous album. Throughout this period, Kenny G spent most of his time in his car, yelling at the radio each time an Elton John song came on. What a sad, broken friendship that I bet you never even knew about. Well, that's all you need to know about Kendrick Lamar's chart-topping new album, Harry's House by Harry Styles. Leave a comment if I missed something, or if you think Mr. Morale is just a metaphor for Bigfoot. See you next time!